And we are on the line this morning with Philip Martell. He is the superintendent of the Blairsville-Saltsburg School District. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. And it's good to have you on the air with us here today as we talk about issues within the Blairsville-Saltsburg School District. There are a few, as we are all aware. Hey, before we get to the obvious topic, I wanted to ask you about COVID-19 because we're seeing an uptick in COVID-19 cases pretty well across Indiana County. That includes some of our school districts. And there are a few cases listed on your 14-day rolling calendar. What's it like there in terms of COVID-19 and getting a handle on things?
You know, it's something. Maybe we're getting. I hate to say this, but you're getting used to it. It's been, obviously almost a little over a full year. But the thing to keep in mind, and I guess which is somewhat baffling, we fought this thing so far, and we put mitigation strategies in place. The students have been great. The staff's been great, and it just was a little shocking that we're going to, lo and behold, June 1st, we're going to pick up and say we're going to go somewhat back to normal, which everybody wants to, but for what you just mentioned, I'm just not so sure we need to be a little bit more careful for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me as well, because you can't really pinpoint why this happens or that happens, and it's certainly the case with COVID-19. As more people are getting vaccinated, you wonder if there are people out there that just say, well, those people that have been vaccinated, they're not wearing their masks, so why do I need to wear mine?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I also think that, we looked even to try to partner to have, at that time, some of our 16 and up make the vaccination available to them. It was a little bit disappointing, the amount of students that didn't take the opportunity to get this done. Because I do think that, obviously this is there and able to do it now, but obviously we can't tell people, that they can't get it. I mean, they have to get it. But and now they're talking about taking that age, I think, down to 12, I heard in the last couple of days. I think people need to, to really seriously look at this. But what we're seeing too with the cases, it's not really in school. It's just some of the activities are now with people getting together outside of school and different things. But when they come to school, everything goes into impact, and then we have people quarantining. And we really offered the vaccination too, Todd, because I was concerned about this. I would feel so terrible, and so would the board, if a student because we fought to have our prom and our graduation. It'd be terrible if a student would have to quarantine, and that's why we said, okay, let's try to make this available, but we didn't have that many participants.
Yeah, that is disappointing, and we're hearing that, and not just across the student sector, but every sector of society. There are some difficulties with that. Do need to get to the major topics, though, for the Blairsville-Saltsburg School District. Public comment period underway, and as you were telling me a little while ago, with the consolidation and all of the issues that it brings, it's really important that you listen to every voice that is being weighed in upon here, and you're making a great effort to do that. Yes,
we are, and that's why we have decided, we heard a lot of things about the identities, and that's where I got to give the collective the most credit, and then because even with the renaming and the rebranding of the school district, a fresh start, but involving the kids and the communities. But also some of the other things that came out of the hearing itself, concerns over transportation and other things. I did listen, and so did the board. So we're, as we roll out the transition plan, we're fully in transition mode now. We will show how we've identified some of those issues and how we're attempting to fix them, and some concerns that the parents had. I think it's important when you go through a process like this, in order to get that collaboration with all the stakeholders, you have to have excellent listening skills, and I think we're gonna address some of those issues.
There are a lot of things, a lot of issues that have to be handled when you have something like this, which really is for people in any community. When this comes to their school district, it's something nobody's ever dealt with before, and it's quite unique to each district as well. Maybe an example of that is the district advertising for coaches, football coaches. When you have two separate athletic programs, which not completely separate right now, but they're all programs will be merged into one. Then you have to find coaches and come up with an equitable way that is going to address the concerns from both ends of the district as well. So the football coach advertising this week, that's one of those steps that has to be taken, isn't it?
It is. I mean, as we bring the programs together, it's in my mind, Todd. It's especially in this first year, the first couple of years. It's more than just an athletic coaching position. It's someone that actually can bring people together. and make sure you're right. We are committed to making sure things are done in an equitable manner. And as long as I'm superintendent of this district, they will be. But getting these types of individuals to come on board to help us coach or help facilitate student groups as we transition through this, so students do feel that it is an inclusive environment, not an exclusive one. So it's so crucial we find the right people to do these things.
From an administrative standpoint, what are the next steps that you need to take within your office for this transition?
We will in the next couple of weeks, over the next probably 30 to 60 days for sure. We'll be introducing all information on the potential for the STEAM Academy, which will include the process that we'll be going through with the Department of Education. We'll then start looking at expanding, like what programs specifically we're going to be looking at. We will be talking about some student and staff collaboration events, because I think it's important to understand that a lot of the people don't know each other, so they're going to be working together now on a full-time basis, just as much as the students. So we'll look to have some events during the summer as well. One of them will have what they call almost like a step-up day. We'll bring students from the sixth grade and fifth grade from both buildings, to come up on a day to see where their classes are going to be located, to meet their teachers, to basically simulate a day as if they were starting school next year in sixth grade. I just think it's important to kind of put ease at people's minds, and then they can see some of the benefits that we're working hard to clear up in transportation. To shorten those runs as much as possible, and that is commitment of myself and the board. So we're working with our transportation company to do that. Then bringing that out to the public and saying, look, we're looking at all the safety measures and concerns you have. We're looking at the length of runs. Those types of things are logistically what you have to do in this type of process, and then also preparing the building for the fall.
You're talking the Blairsville building right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And as far as the Salzburg building, of course, and that will be a bit longer of a transition for the STEAM Academy. Yes.
It will, and because there's a process you have to go with PDE. But I will tell you, we've had a number of it really is going to be a unique situation, Todd, because very seldom in today's day that we live in, you can see with what will happen with this program. You'll see business, public unions, and government come together, because at the end of the day, workforce development, in the case of what we're going to do at the Salzburg facility, brings all three of those together, even though they may not politically align at times. But they're all seeking the same end product, which is a trained, skilled worker.
One of the questions that was asked to me, and I said that I would ask you about it, was would the STEAM Academy not encompass some of the same things that would be happening at ICTC as they expand their services with the Challenger Center?
Absolutely not. Our programs are completely different. And that was one thing we wanted to make clear, because honestly, and it's not just ICTC, Todd, career and technical education, it needs to be evolving each year based on what we know that what the workforce development, what we're looking for from a skilled employee. They've not done that. And it's very difficult at times, because sometimes it's their lack of money. So it's really not their fault, lack of space and so forth. The Challenger program, I'm not even sure. Really, it's grades 3 through 5. You can only, it doesn't, what happens after that. But it's not what we do. Our jobs are going to be driven off of, what those workforce demand needs. Last year NASA had 18,000 applicants for astronauts. I think they took 12. We're looking at diesel tech and some other programs that want employees now. Because we're asking the communities to come in at that expense of creating these programs. You need to be able to do a cost-benefit analysis, which is providing training for our students, and students in the region, quite frankly.
We're talking with Philip Martell. He is the superintendent of the Blairsville-Saltsburg School District. A couple of surveys up on the school district website, b-ssd.org, for one for students. That's the color and mascot idea survey, and then the all stakeholders, the Blairsville-Saltsburg renaming survey and information, and you can address those by going to the website and participating there. Want to talk about this school year and wrapping it up because we've got less than a month left in it and still some things to do. So how does the final month here look like at Blairsville and Salzburg schools?
We're going to continue to move, and obviously we have a number of different things going on, outside of the reconfiguration, but we also are going to have a very aggressive summer credit recovery and acceleration program, because one thing we do know from this whole pandemic issue across the United States is the loss of learning has been tremendous. So we have a lot of catch up to do. I will, say that is, some of the federal money that we're getting, grants and that are coming forward. I think that is good purpose for those to try to have, help our students with those remediation courses during the summer, which we'll be providing for free to all of our students. And those that, need the extra time to be able to get those grades back and get them up. So it's really like we're transitioning from into another semester, Todd, in a way. It's like we're not even stopping. So that's what makes this year unique, and then obviously, finishing up just on, for our seniors, obviously, in other different fronts.
Yeah, and there are a number of different things to be handled. Has prom happened already?
No, it's actually coming up here within, I think, 2 weeks.
Okay, so prom is something that will be happening, and we hope that it can happen. You never know with pandemic stopping things in their tracks. We're hoping we can get that taken care of. And then you've got graduation ceremonies. And, of course, there will be much emotion at the Salzburg end of the district on graduation night. And so I know that that planning has to be pretty sensitive, doesn't it?
It does. And I think it's important, as we go through this process, to take all those things into consideration. And I will have to say we've been making every attempt to do that. And to give credit to a lot of people, we've had a lot of people come forward on the Salzburg side. The Salzburg Foundation was established to provide support through the EITC program. They've been working with us. They reached out to us, said, hey, how can we take this now district-wide to benefit all of our students? I can't say enough to those folks at the Salzburg Foundation for moving forward to do that. But I also, there are other people moving forward. It takes time to heal, but I think when you do what's in the best interest of our students and our families, I think people start to see it. And I think then it starts to heal very quickly.
All right. PSSA tests or the various standardized tests, those have gone well?
The best they can. I still think it was a mistake. I'm not an advocate for standardized testing because I don't think it really truly encompasses the talent of a full student. But this year, shame on the federal government for they know the outcomes of these tests. So I don't really know the end game behind it, but it's been very difficult for us because obviously we've had students that have been in that digital environment. But we also have students that have not come back and are still online. So making those accommodations has been tricky. I just think it could have been put off for another year. But we're getting through it. We're working with the best we can, and that's all we can really do.
He is Philip Martell, Blairsville-Saltsburg School District Superintendent. Thanks so much for being with us today. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Todd. Have a good one.
All right, you too. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160 FM and AM 1160 FM.